Like nothing, dude.
You know,
Like,
he's on a work call, dude. That's one of the reasons I didn't want to take this job, because fucking if I'm off work, dude,
So,
I'm not
Brant,
gonna.
mute yourself, you
there's
fucking
a
faggot.
facility right across the way called Flow Health.
Flow Health?
Flow Health on Topanga Canyon, yeah. And
Tell him where
Guys,
to get
I'm
his
talking
COVID
with
test.
Tony Hawk
Hey,
right
Brant,
now.
just tell him the COVID
This is Tony
doesn't
Hawk.
exist anymore. Just tell him that. Tell him, ask him if he's heard the CDC.
Always go to Flow. Like anything filming in LA, I've done Texas, I've done shows in New Orleans, and shows in Atlanta. All these places, if I do fly out, they always take me to there. So I see. There was actually a COVID place in the mall. I was pretty blown away. But I just feel bad. I just wanted to call you. I didn't mean to call you so late.
Brant, can you ask Tony? Can you ask Tony how many times he hit his dick on the pavement?
Yeah, no worries. It's all right. It's no problem at all. It's our job, really. No worries. Hey, I gotta let you go, Matt.
No worries. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too, brother. Check you later.
See you, man.
Tony likes to be called Matt when he's on the phone.
I just love being a slave to the system.
Why did you go live for that, Brant?
Because it was just getting late, and I was like, this guy's not gonna stop talking until like almost 9:20. So
you associated him with the racist diatribe that is about.
That's our first guest. That's our first guest in a while.
And I thought
our first guest since the last guy who disowned me because I was racist.
Seriously, yeah, no. He's trying to stack up the bodies.
We'll see. Who knows?
Just fucking invite every person who doesn't onto this show and just say it.
I don't know if we could fit. That'd have to be like in an auditorium, man. That'd have to be like a full Q&A session.
No, you want to do it one at a time though. Because if you do it, if you bust your we could get honestly, we should drop the whole movie watching premise of this show and just be we tell people in our life we're racist. And it's like a coming out show.
That'd be a fun
we just invite
one,
on everybody in our life that doesn't realize how racist we are, and then we just start talking about the 3 dimples in the back of old Ben's head.
That'd be such a fun.
So are you saying it should just be like a reality TV show where we're just trying to we're doing the intervention work for everybody else?
Yeah, no, it's like Love on the Spectrum, but it's hate only for racists.
Yeah, it's hate. Love on the Spectrum, hate on the spectrum. Hate on the sidewalk.
Jesus.
Hate in the basement. Hate in the basement.
Hate in the basement. There you go.
How about just my best friend's a Nazi? How about something simple like that? That's a good one. That's catchy. That'd be good on Spotify.
Nazi and proud.
Yeah, my best friend's a Nazi, and then you just.
But then people start getting mad at us when they find out we're not as racist as we're perceived on the show. Yeah, because the show starts crash zooming every time we just mention the Holocaust. Just look at how they talk about it.
Yeah, no. Well, actually, it's funny we talk about spectrum because we have a spectrum of racism just in this Bad Circle podcast. I think at least one of us believes it.
By that spectrum, Katz is full blown retarded. Me and Brant are the people who will actually end up with someone on Love on the Spectrum. You guys haven't seen the Australian season, so
if I'm full blown retarded, then that means I do get the love because I would be that Indian guy Buk Tung or whatever his name was.
Buk Tung.
He got the
the one.
Yeah, no. He was the tardiest of them all, and he got his babe.
We're talking about...
and she was equally tardy, so you can have, you are going... That's just a guaranteed sign that you're going to find love. You're going to find love with somebody who is just as hateful as you, just like a straight-up fucking Stormfront situation from Season 2 of The Boys. And then me and Brant are just going to end up wearing capes at Renaissance fairs, just passing out Mein Kampf.
Did that guy actually get the girl? Did that dude get the girl at the Renaissance fair?
No, he didn't get the girl, dude. Our boy didn't get the girl.
Good. What a nerd.
Here did Steve. But Steve, honestly, the old man, he dropped it. Steve, the old man, dropped it because he was like, oh, this chick isn't up to my standees, dude. I'm not having this.
Steve... Yeah, no, Steve was hardcore. Steve knew what he wanted, and he wasn't going to mess around. He was
nice
what
he was offering. Steve genuinely has a lot to offer. You just got to look past how he's kind of a weirdo.
I respect Steve. Yeah.
He wasn't even a weirdo.
He just seemed like a nice old guy.
He wasn't even that much of a weirdo. He was an odd duck.
he seems like a gentleman. He seems like just a slightly behind the times gentleman, you know. I feel like you should be saying, like,
he also just like talks just like, whoa, you know, he talks like he was. If you were married to him, you'd be married to like fucking Mr. Rogers, the character, not the person, just the character, you know. Like,
you'd ask him what he wants for breakfast.
That is some great labia right
That's
there.
That's some nice pussy. Whoa!
I've seen some pictures. The way your hairs make me tingle. No, he would be a great
in my penis right now.
Hold on, you got a bit of my pubic hair in your teeth there. Let me suck it out.
I'm pretty sure he hadn't. He said he was like basically like forever alone. He never touched pussy. I'm pretty sure he said.
Yeah, no, and like every single time throughout every season thus far I've watched this show, every time a retarded guy is on a date with a retarded girl, the retarded guy says, "I've never been with anybody," and the retarded girl says, "Well, I've been with like 17 people," and they cut to the guy and he's just like, what? Because they're just so surprised of how like fucking easy it is for retarded girls to just get laid, you know?
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, I mean, most of the retarded girls in that first season, you wouldn't just like if you're drunk and you're not listening to them and you just see them, you wouldn't tell they're retarded.
The downy ones, right?
Yeah, no, you think that they were just fucking kind of stupid, like that they would just be like a slightly difficult date.
You're not talking about like
that one chick that was just
you're
annoying.
Talking about like the actual Down syndrome ones, right?
Downies. I think you're gonna notice, hopefully.
So Abby was that one who was like fucking kind of downies, and you could like see it, but still she was really cute. She was just super into Disney, but they're non-downies. You can't really
tell when someone's autistic by the way they look. It's just like how they look back at you. That's where you're like, oh, I see you, you fucking gremlin. You fucking little supreme being with your little Rubik's Cube and your fucking little mind cave twiddling away at the numbers around you. Fuck off.
Yeah, no, some of them you can just like count the fucking chromosomes by how often they fucking dart their eyes away, you know? Sometimes you can just fucking count that shit.
What was the name of the Indian guy? What was his name? It was like Bogdan.
Bogdan or something? It was...
Bogdan.
Big dick.
It doesn't matter. We're here to talk about Tony Hawk.
Till
the wheels fall.
Tilda Hawk, Tilda Swinton.
Tony Hawk, Tilda Wheels. Good documentary, and turns out Tony Hawk's a really cool guy, and skateboarding's really cool, and it had a good fucking soundtrack. That's the facts of the matter here.
It did have a good soundtrack. I would listen to this soundtrack, that's for sure.
It was a good soundtrack, dude.
Yeah.
And man,
it had some
the reason
in there.
I'm assuming you guys are manlier than I am. Did you guys cry at all watching this thing?
Yeah, at the beginning that was pretty sad with like the mom having
the part with
dementia.
Mom.
Yeah, that was like, oh.
Yeah, that was hard to watch. That part where he like kneels down with her and he's like,
"Yeah,
Mom." You know, it was hard to watch.
Yeah, I didn't cry at all, but that mom part was pretty rough because you're watching that and it's like you almost don't want them to be filming it. Like it's just like, oh man, why are you even pointing the camera at this? This is awful.
Yeah, no, that was pain. But also, like, the fucking for me at least, like, I really like sports documentaries about like the people who are the greatest of all time, because like there's something so inspiring to me about this whole fucking thing of just like how much suffering they go through, and they just to do something stupid, which is just spin around a couple times and land it. But like that part of the X Games when he's just like huffing and puffing and keeps fucking going up the ramp again and again. That is just the triumph of fucking human spirit, dude. And the first time he ever landed that trick was in front of millions of people. That is incredible. That is just a crazy moment. It's beautiful to see.
I remember when that happened, I think, or at least like I remember seeing clips of it like shortly after, because that was a big deal. Like X Games was a big deal. Like.
Maybe your friend. Wait. So maybe your friends were cooler than mine because I just probably didn't have friends at this point, actually. Like, so, were you a border cats? Were you into the Borden universe?
No, I never. I could not stand on a skateboard and move at all. But like, I feel like I don't know. I had a few friends that were skateboarders, and I feel like everybody at my school was just like a wannabe. Like everyone like got the skateboarder shit, and so it was like,
I wore DC.
You always
I remember when we were working in the news too.
Yeah.
I think Tony Hawk built a fucking skate park in like Sheridan or like some nearby place. Like Tony Hawk, like just in the past couple of years, he built a skate park somewhere in Montana.
Really, I did not know that.
He's
he does seem like a genuinely cool guy. He does seem like a cool person.
Yeah, no, and he went through ups and downs. Which, like, that's another thing that, like, just makes me respect him. Is like he fucking was super famous, and then he was just like some guy who all of his girlfriend's friends or his wife's friends were like, he's still trying to skateboard, and then he was just like a year or two out from fucking being top dog again. Like, that's just incredible. That's impressive to me.
Blew all the money. No, that was all gone. He's in an apartment complex, or like the little
suburban. Yeah, to tear down the fucking ramp that him and his pops built by hand.
I think that was the point where, like, I decided I respected Tony Hawk when he was tearing out like his own ramp, like nail by nail. I was like, damn, that actually does suck. Like, that's
and then he evolves like into his 50s, man. Like when Tony Hawk started skateboarding, Magic Johnson and Larry Bird were still in the NBA, and he's still skateboarding today at like the top of his game. Like, that's just impressive.
Yeah, well, it's an interesting sport because it's like, yeah, the falls like definitely do damage on your body, and you can't do that. Like, yeah, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, the whiplash. They were talking about how like just fucking live with permanent whiplash. There was that part where he goes on the fucking. It was the first time he ever did a loop-de-loop or whatever. He fell right on his fucking back, and there are just bitches in the background in a hot tub, and he's just like, ugh.
He's got like his face all fucking gouged out. It's like, oh Jesus, Tony. Ugh.
Well, and that one skate rink that they all talked about being like the hardest one. That one did look genuinely terrifying to like go at. It was like in I can't remember where it was, but it was the one where like they said, you know, if you did well in that rink, then all the skaters would respect you.
Oh,
and it was literally just like, yeah, it was just like vertical walls. It was basically just like a room.
That was really like, those were some tight little tunnels.
Yeah, no, and
half pipes.
It's so cool to me that those all started out as fucking swimming pools. Like that, and they just became abandoned swimming pools that just turned into this. Like it's a very weird fucking medium, skateboarding. That's why I thought it was a really interesting documentary, because it's just kind of weird how fucking it just came up so gnarly. Which every like legitimate sport comes up gnarly like that.
What did he like?
There hasn't been a lot of things like one of the most photogenic ones. It's like it's the coolest to film. I feel like it looks very good on camera. Whereas a lot of sports, I feel like, are just boring. Like,
it is pretty cool, and it's more. And the fact that you can actually use it to get around makes it cooler than snowboarding and every other kind of boarding. Like, you can't just surf to your house, you know.
BMX.
Yeah, that's true. Huh. Yeah, there is that.
Scene,
I don't know. I see bike tricks, and when they're spinning around their bikes and shit like that, like I'm like.
Bikes are kind of cool. Awesome. It's like a bike is a heavier thing and it takes up more of the frame. A skateboard is just a fucking single piece of wood.
Exactly. It always looks dorky. Shit. When you're on a bike, it always looks dorky. I feel like you can't make a bike.
Sometimes when people like spin around the fucking whole thing and like fucking fly up in the air and shit, that's kind of cool. Dirt bikes though are way cooler than like bike bikes.
Yeah, they just look cool. Dirt bikes just look cool in themselves, but like a regular old bike, I don't know. Not quite. Skateboards have a better aesthetic, but
do people still do tricks on like Harleys and shit, or was Evel Knievel just like Evel Knievel and his fucking 150 broken bones enough to just like cancel that fucking art?
Well, I'd like to see somebody do like actual tricks on a Harley, like somebody make the Harley spin on.
Oh, I watched.
That'd be awesome.
I was rewatching a bunch of Channel 5 stuff, and they went to Daytona, and they had those. One of those old big barrels that they ride around in circles on with go-karts and motorcycles. That was pretty cool. That's a trick you could do.
Cool. Dude, in the fucking ball of death thing?
It wasn't a ball of death, it was just
like
a barrel.
Simpsons?
So it wasn't nearly as cool as the ball of death that we had here.
No, they used to do the barrel thing up in Butte. They used to have, like, you look down in it and just this fucking wood thing. Yeah, and just like people and there's just some woman standing in the middle being like, throw money.
What? Crazy.
No, it was great, dude. You used to be fucking Butte back when there was Evel Knievel days. That shit used to be really cool.
Yeah, that was only like a few years ago when they stopped doing that, right?
Yeah, no, we don't have festivals where fucking like hardcore crazy meth heads come and just like fucking like put themselves at risk. We just replaced all our festivals with a bunch of faggots coming up with fucking ukuleles and fucking just like weird instruments. And I know how to play the colander.
Hey, apparently, Evel. This could be just a family myth, but apparently, Evel Knievel married a member of my family at one point and then divorced them. But
that might be a family myth. That might be a family myth. That might be the truth. But like fucking,
yeah.
I don't know, like, if you ask old folks around here, every single old person in Butte has, like, stories of the impropriety
Every
of...
single woman over 60 in this town fucking talks about how she sucked on Evel Knievel's left nut and or right ball.
Hey, man. Marriage is provable. Marriage is provable. That's that's got papers.
Yeah, marriage is provable. So you should look. Maybe it was one of those like marriages where you're like, oh, we were married this whole time. Have fun with the kid, and then you just leave.
We were married every time I took you to bed.
You gotta suck hard.
Coincidentally, that was the kid who died in the creek for some reason, right? Like that was just coincidentally, right? Like that was that kid, right?
Did he have a kid that died in the creek?
No, I don't know. I'm just saying that. So wait, did she have she just married him and then he left?
I think what I know is that they were married and then they got divorced. Like that's basically it. I mean, I think he had like as many wives as Tony Hawk or more.
Are we talking?
Yeah, no. Tony Hawk really shows that you don't have to be a giant piece of shit to be an extreme sports legend.
Yeah, we saved this. How many wives does Tony Hawk have?
4 wives. Right? He had 4 wives, and it seems like they all left around like the point where they could all get something in the divorce.
Oh, that's sad.
So
his first one left, Cindy Dunbar.
He must have paid out a little bit.
Cindy Dunbar was the first one. And, like, the way they even show it in the documentary where he, like, says, like, hey, I got this girl. Like, even his friends were like, yeah, that bitch doesn't love you, man. Like, I feel like there's parts of the documentary that even, like, say shit like that where they're just like, oh, she's just fucking hanging around. She left in 93, which was when, like, the first fucking big crash happened, when he was right before he had to tear down his fucking ramp. Then he got another one in 96, which stuck around to 2004. So she left with some fucking Tony Hawk 3 money, but not with the Tony Hawk 4 money.
Oh, shit.
Well, I don't know the exact years on that, but maybe it was Tony Hawk 4, not Tony Hawk 5. I don't exactly know. But then he had 2006 to 2011 with a woman named Lotse, Lhotse.
Lotse.
That wasn't a red flag enough for him. He was like, "This is gonna go fine. This will be all right. My name's Tony. She's Lotse.
I love you, Lotse Hawk."
Dude, Lotse Hawk sounds like a Lotse Hawk. Purdy, dude. Lotse Miriam was her unmarried name. She was Purdy. She was. I got nothing.
Let's see. Put her up to the camera. Put her up to the camera.
Show us.
Every one of his wives. Let me just like go through this to make sure. But it looks like every one of his wives looks exactly the same. He just kind of kept going until he found a woman that looked like that.
Show us.
His most recent, like the one that he has now, was probably the nicest. It seems like, but. I don't know.
Man,
they didn't go over the wives that much.
That's what you gotta know about him. The man enjoys him a blonde woman.
Well, no, because the first wife was a brunette, wasn't she?
Well, she might be now, but back in the Tony Hawk.
No, she was a brunette in the documentary.
Yeah, I know, but like she wasn't married to him anymore, right?
In the documentary, like his first wife, when they showed pictures of her.
Yeah, his first wife. But back in the Tony Hawk days, all the pictures with her are fucking blonde, dude. Tony Hawk like and Lotse fucking no cap. Lotse was the hottest one, dude.
Lotse.
I'm checking.
She gets those lows.
Like fucking the other ones were like more classically hot, but Lotse just looks like fucking. She reminds me of the one chick from Game of Thrones who was like the old lady's granddaughter who married Joffrey. Like that's fucking Lotse right there, dude. What was her name? Fucking starts with a D.
What are you doing?
Like Derpy.
Anyways.
Well, anyway, Tony Hawk surprising. With all of his success, he somehow kept marrying hot women. How surprising.
Yeah, Lotse she has the most pleasant face.
Yeah, there were other like more like supermodel looking women, but Lotse looked like you'd bring her home to mom, dude.
She looks like a cutie. Too bad
Tony
it didn't
Hawk
work out.
Wipeout is like what 30% of this documentary is just watching him get hurt,
which is cool, dude. I like all the failure. That fucking I'd never heard that song before this documentary, but that like fucking it feels sorry I can't touch it. Like fucking why can't I touch it? Like fucking I felt like that was very good. That was just some good music with moment kind of shit. where it was just like fucking being like, yeah, no, it's he's trying to do a thing, but he can't do it, and it's like a euphoric song. I like that. Soundtrack's good.
Now, it was satisfying to like watch him just like fall and then get up and then like go really fast and then go in the air. Like it was cathartic. You could see like the good, like how fun it would be.
Yeah, no, and if you really pay attention to it, you can kind of see like what they're saying, like where he just like learns a little bit by bit. You know, just like, I'll fuck up this part of me now. Like, it also, like, fucking, if you don't know how to fall down good, watching this documentary is a good way to see, like, how you fall down. Because he's always, like, on the pad just sliding, you know?
Yeah, no, he made falling down look cool. Like,
yeah, no, and he made it look easy. He makes it look so fucking easy.
Yeah, no, that was pretty good. Like, it would just, like, he would just kind of touch the ground.
If I just went out there and tried a 900, I would just fucking flip around and I would just fucking break every bone in one go.
Well, I don't think you would ever get in the air. You'd get on the board and you'd go down the half pipe. Yeah, no, I would do the
first half pipe, fly off, hit my fucking neck on the railing, and die.
Oh, I wouldn't even I wouldn't even get off the ramp. It would just be like down. I would just fucking like slam
would just fucking put a hole in the half pipe. He would just fucking fly through it like a cartoon character.
No, yeah. Seriously, I honestly don't think like the way they get down on the board. I would my feet would leave the board and I'd just be jumping off of that cliff and just go like straight into the middle of the half pipe. I don't see any other way of that happening. Yeah, that's just how it is.
It's very impressive. It's very impressive. I just like shit like that. It's like same reason I like the Michael Jordan documentary, the fucking whatever it was called, The Last Dance. And fucking the Tony Hawk one, the Tiger Woods ones. I like documentaries about like fucking people at the top of their game on shit because you can just see them just like suffering through everything and then just like coming to crush something in front of everybody. It's just like, damn, dude, fuck yeah! Like you showed up for all those people. Like, how gay would it have been if he like wasn't able to land the 900 with all those X Games attempts? It would have still been like inspiring or whatever in its own way, but the fact that he was able to land it for the first time he ever did it, that's just some crazy shit, man. That's cool shit. I like that shit. That's legend shit.
No, it was cool shit.
There's a really interesting documentary on Hulu about this guy. Fuck, what is his name? It's like The Amazing Jonathan.
Oh yeah, no, I've seen that boy. The magician.
What's he do?
Yeah, it's just really comedian. It becomes too much about the guy making it like around the later.
That is the fucking death note for every documentary is when it becomes way too much about the guy making the documentary.
I hate that shit.
Yeah, he's like, I don't care.
That's the worst shit in the world.
Fucking parents.
There's a documentary about the fucking guy who wore the Darth Vader suit. And how mad he was that George Lucas recast him when the mask came off in episode 6. And the whole documentary is about, we're going to reshoot the scene with this fucking 90-year-old man in a documentary that like fucking no one's ever going to give a shit about. And just like fucking when they reshoot the scene, it's just like the mask comes off. He's like, I'm blah, blah, blah. And you get it immediately.
That sounds like a Nathan Fielder.
Was nice to say it or whatever, but the reason you didn't catch him or you didn't cast him in that scene is because it was like the emotional scene where Darth Vader talks to Luke. And not only does he sound German as shit, but also his eyes are like, dang.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a Nathan Fielder sketch.
Yeah, no, and half the documentary is like, we got to create the actual Darth Vader scene.
No, the mask comes off and he just like starts heiling Hitler. Like he just goes full on. That would have been great. Actually, he would have saved.
That would have been pretty hip.
Should have been
pretty hip.
Yeah, and it would have tied together a lot of the themes of Star Wars too.
I mean, they're the Nazis. That's what they're supposed to be, right?
Exactly. Yeah, they're symbolizing the Nazis. If they would have just taken off the helmet and fucking, he would have just had a little stash, a little musty.
Or like, what if that was like,
would have been like, if you read this book.
What if it wasn't a mustache though? What if it was like a little connector for like? That's how the faceplate like gets in there to like put the oxygen tubes up there. Is this little like bottom lip connector that's just in that case, size.
Especially if you're gonna remake the movie, you might as well remake the Darth Vader mask where the eyes are going.
Man, imagine that would have been so cool if Darth Vader had like a swastika lightsaber. It'd be like the swastika saber. You know how like when General Grievous
not too far
had,
off
like,
from the Kylo Ren lightsaber. Not too far off.
No, it's not. Or like, you know, and like General Grievous had like the 4 lightsabers.
He could have done a swastika if he just would have had some.
He could have made the swass. He could have swassed.
No,
he could have swassed it up.
You need 8 first because that's you got your points, but then you need
unless they're bendy lightsabers.
He would use his arms, Brant. He would use his arms for the rest of it.
Do they have?
But
it would have to be like an Instagram. Like it would have to be like a picture taken, like with a helicopter effect. You'd have to spin them some, and then you'd have to take a picture of them straight out, and then a picture of them like when they're spinning, and then you could composite them together and get a little swastika motion.
Yeah, that's too much work. No, if you were gonna have a swastika saber, I think
that
you'd
bendy
have to,
sabers, but like bendy sabers, I think
no. It would be like a fan. It would be like you'd have the saber, but then on the end of it, it would have like the fan blades, but they're swastikas, and then you're just making like a black sun at that point. You're just doing like
now we're just fucking doing everything to make everything into a swastika. You could do this with most items at this point.
I'm just saying how you'd make a swastika.
Shurikens are basically swastikas.
Sugar cans?
Shurikens? You know, the fucking Japanese, like, spinny... Basically swastika.
Oh, a ninja star?
Speaking of the ninja lifestyle, how crazy was that documentary where, like, Tony Hawk just went to Asia... And they just did a half pipe in Asia.
And they just like took a bunch of acid with the Beatles, and then everybody was like, "Oh, I can see it, man."
Did they? Did they?
They hung out with George Harrison.
I don't remember.
They hung out with George Harrison, apparently.
Yeah,
they said that.
They did acid with the Maharishi.
No, that really happened in the documentary. Like they go to Asia, and there's just like a half pipe there, like they're in a rice paddy field, and then like
I remember that.
It's the first like videos. It's like. After Spencer or whatever his name is gets enough money, he like takes them, or at least like does some enough.
Stacy,
Stacy. Remember, it's pretty early in there. I understand if you forgot it because it was
I remember which part you're talking about.
Yeah, I was just like, okay. Oh, it's like, cool. Is it gonna be like bamboo? Is it gonna be like a themed board? And it's like, oh, it's just a fucking board, but it's in the middle.
It's just a half pipe. Well, how many different ways are you gonna do a half pipe, Brant? There's like not.
Just paint
not really different ways.
Just paint it.
I really like
that would be cool.
You can't like, especially with like indie film and shit. Like I didn't even know this until you showed me some shit, Cats. But like the history of indie film has like some skateboard videos are in there somewhere, you know. Like I like that one video. There was an ad for the Bones Brigade or whatever, where like a fucking guy in the news talking about skateboards, and he's like, "That's not a skateboard." He breaks the TV, pulls a skateboard. I was like, "This is a skateboard." Yeah, I like that. That was just an ad, but I like that. That was clever.
The culture around it, actually, the biggest thing that I enjoyed in this movie was just like seeing the skateboard culture with like, because it was like the music was a big part. Then there was the videos, and then it was this kind of like just the hangout kind of thing that they were doing. I don't know, like that is an interesting thing because it's like
best ads.
Just and they're talking about how like skating is their identity, like, and all this stuff, and it's so like that's just like foreign
and how they
to me.
Just want to die on the board at the end, like that whole part is like crazy. I probably got that thing that all the football players have, but I'm just gonna die on the board. I don't care.
What
No, go on, Brant. Sorry.
So the fucking ads were definitely the best part. I wish we got seen more of those because like. You were saying, or were the Bones Brigade ones. All those were so fucking cool. Like when he just smashes the TV open and pulls the board out, or it's just like him hitting like a fucking like what was a Jeep commercial? It's just him doing like fucking McTwists or
the ending shit where he was like fucking like you could tell they were all sponsored things, but him like fucking like with Tony Hawk, fucking 48 years old or whatever, just like fucking just like skating on a fucking or grinding on a fiery pole in between two half pipes.
Yeah, it's just sick. It's just he's always been the face of skateboarding since he was a kid, and it's just
still like, to this day, dude, like that is so incredibly impressive because like I was comparing it to basketball earlier, all the athletes that were fucking top of their game when he started being top of his game in most other sports are fucking well retired, but he's still fucking like dropping fucking Jordan level numbers as a nearly 50-year-old man.
What did Brett Favre Favre. When did Brett Favre quit the NFL? He was like 40-something, right?
After a couple of fingers in the pussy. Like, I think that was what it was. I don't remember. Brett got canceled for something.
That's what it was.
He got canceled?
He didn't clap for Caitlyn Jenner.
Not who's the guy? Tom Brady is like the guy who's considered like the NFL, like Jordan beyond Jordan. You know, he's considered the guy.
He's like
40 He's been there for a long time. It seems like, right?
Tom Brady, no, and then he fucking left the Patriots after giving them a bunch of championships and immediately gave a different team championship. So he's got his whole thing. As far as I know, I don't know.
He's good. People probably like him. He's probably like, very, very nice, and he's like very respectful. But he's like also like gives you valid criticism and stuff. He's like
he's got a super hot wife. He's got a super hot wife.
He drains his nuts nightly, so he's like always focused on the game. There is no saying. There is no
and there was that whole South Park episode where people were trying to get a hold of
We should do a documentary on Tom Brady. Let's watch that next episode.
Dude, I just Tom Brady documentary. I don't have a good Tom Brady doc, but if you guys want to watch Tiger Woods next time.
See, I like this was a good movie. No, this was a good movie. I liked it, and it's not like I don't regret watching it at all. But for the talk,
just as he brings up his, like,
I did not even bother.
It's gone. He's dead.
Yeah,
Tony
Hawk killed him. I don't make out of it. I'm just telling you now.
Go back a couple sentences ago. You were popping out. Try again.
I just said I didn't even bother thinking about a bad idea for this because like I don't see any way of doing that.
Well, when I was initially telling you guys that this was the thing I picked, I was saying like you could remake the man's life. You could remake parts of it. You could take him and put him in a different sport. You could fucking like there are a lot of different ways to go about it. I know it's a fucking challenge, but part of the reason I picked this because I think like there is an interesting way to remake it.
Tony Hawk has
either the guy, or you take the sport, or you take the time, or you take the style.
Did you know Tony Hawk has a Scooby-Doo movie? Yeah, that's right.
Does he?
Yeah, he's got a
Is that your pitch, Fran? Are you doing a Scooby-Doo?
Wait, I'm pretty sure he's got one movie where like he's got like his own feature like cartoon, and it's like some kid has to save him from like the devil or some shit.
Yeah, no, he never.
I never watched it, but I remember that.
He doesn't have any like Shazam or Steel level things like Shaq, but he definitely had his own fucking like cartoon things, like fucking Tony Hawk Saves the Universe with his boarding.
Everyone had their goofy cartoon thing if they're like somewhat big in the mid 2000s, basically.
It was produced by the Duplass brothers.
Yeah, I saw that. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I know, because the Duplasses are fucking so hit and miss, where it's either like this is going to be a bunch of bullshit, or this is going to be like in fucking very surprisingly good look into something. It's very hit and miss.
I've never seen one of their movies, but I've watched interviews with them, and they come off so fucking annoying. It turned me off.
I know, right? Like, because I've seen a bunch of their movies, and I actually really like a lot of the shit they've done. But like in the interviews I've seen, like fucking, I saw like an interview with Mark Duplass where he was like, fucking, like all you gotta do is just embrace social justice, and then you'll be able to make more films. Nice.
Yeah.
You fucking.
Yeah. No, I just remember. I remember seeing a interview with them, and one of them says like, "Oh yeah, we both drive Priuses." And
yeah, I just remember like they're super fucking cringe occasionally, and when you talk to them, but they just happen to make good movies every now and again. They're fascinating characters in that regard.
Can't you just be based for like 5 minutes, dude? Come on.
They're not based though. They're not based, but they make based movies sometimes. It's interesting. But like even if you look at this movie though, like fucking I wonder what Tony Hawk thought about like watching the final like fucking 20 minutes of his own documentary and being like, you motherfuckers saying I'm gonna die? Like you guys are just like talking about I'm gonna fucking die?
Yeah.
I feel like I'd be a little cheesed.
I think
it
probably would have looked worse.
How is he gonna fucking die? He's obviously not gonna die.
I don't know. That beginning shows him just slamming himself.
Like fucking like, do you remember that part where they were recreating the fucking Bones Brigade video on the 20th anniversary or whatever? And just fucking like had that concussion where he looked like a ghost.
Dude,
that's a dangerous fucking thing. Like, and that was like fucking. That's why it's a good documentary because it had that good question with the one guy who was like, could you imagine if your dad was just fucking like spinning around on a skateboard? Like, I was like, I wouldn't, like, my dad is like fucking 4 years older than Tony Hawk or whatever. I was like, I don't want to have you skating around at this point. Like,
no, yeah.
Also, my dad's done a lot more manual labor than Tony Hawk.
Yeah, what do you mean though?
Well, also, your dad just does not. He doesn't have the frame for it. You don't see many big boys on skateboards.
Nah, but then you connected to like fucking like you ever see Darren Aronofsky's The Wrestler? Then I kind of picture like my dad just like stepping in the ring with an arrow, just like fucking trying to do the fucking ram jam, and he just destroys his heart.
So like, but rest. Just rest knowing that if Heavy ever had to like do hand-to-hand combat,
Heavy ever had to come back into the ring.
Yeah, if Heavy ever just like if it was a self-defense situation between Heavy and Tony Hawk, Heavy's winning. It's just
between Tony Hawk, dude, because like fucking like that like fucking if it was a boarding challenge, yes, Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
Like if my dad ever had to throw Tony Hawk through the fence, I got Heavy all fucking day, dude.
Heavy all day. Heavy over Hawk. Dude,
but Tony Hawk has some reach though. Like fucking, it would be interesting. But I'm pretty sure just like rage mode. Like Tony Hawk has rage mode, but his rage mode just makes it so he goes and skateboards really well. Like my dad was jugular.
So why are you guys saying like? I don't think Tony would be surprised that like they allude to the fact he's going to kill himself skateboarding because they even say like he's like. I'm gonna die on the board or whatever. It shows it in the opening, like him just slamming his fucking head down like 20 times trying to do a 900, something he knows he's only done like 5 times. But then he did do it though.
Then he did do it. He did the 900.
No, he did.
He did that shit.
In the X Games.
At the end of the documentary when he pulls it off, that's the second time he's done it in his life.
Yeah. But Brant, like, also Tony Hawk wasn't one of the ones that I don't remember him saying like I'm gonna die on the board shit though. That was other people.
Yeah, no, that was what like the hippie guy.
I honestly think that Tony Hawk watching this documentary would probably still be peeved about the end. I agree with Dwayne on that at least.
Yeah.
Like I feel like he'd be watching it.
I feel like he wouldn't be peeved entirely, but he'd be like, man, I really don't like that the final note of the story of my life is I'm probably gonna die doing this.
Speaking of hippies,
yeah, seriously,
that one dude who
honestly though, maybe that's the only thing that would have stopped him from dying doing it, because maybe he'll be like, I was
well, Brant,
that like that hippie guy. Remember the one who like quit the tournaments first for Stacy, and he was like, for me and like Tony, you know, like there's a deeper connection. That guy, he could suck my fucking ass. Fuck him.
Oh,
you didn't like that guy?
I didn't like that guy.
He was the guy who said like until the shirt with the long hair.
That's what we live for.
Are you talking about the guy with the long hair, Brant?
It wasn't super long, but it wasn't it was the hippie guy though. He was just like. You know, it's like a spiritual thing, you know, it's like a mantra for him. It's
that guy sucked. That guy was terrible.
So full of himself.
No, I hated that
so self-inserted to everything. Fuck him.
Yeah, but the way he looked at it, I liked the way
he was able to shoot porn.
Even how, like, when he was talking about how his first relationship with Tony was trying to do all these technical moves, and he was running an entirely different category.
He was just a freestyler.
He was doing all this shit. He was just doing, like, this kind of, like, shit that was essentially dance on a skateboard.
Freestyling.
And like
freestyle skate.
Yes. Yeah, freestyle shit. And like I kind of liked that just because like the way he was talking like he was an artist, and everyone else was talking like an athlete. Like it was kind of cool to see that middle ground, you know.
I think he was a little too like a touch too spiritual about to a degree. Like I can understand certain.
No,
things,
definitely, but he was the only guy who was giving you that perspective.
I liked him
at
first.
No, you know who
I really liked him at first.
The,
too much was quickly became.
No, that guy sucked. But despite his namesake, I liked the Dwayne guy. Actually, he was funny. Every time he was on screen, that guy was hilarious.
He was for the first hour of the movie. He was a classic example of how people named Dwayne are always an asshole in all media. But he had his redemption arc at the end there, where fucking Tony Hawk just said, like, hey, I'm sorry about your daughter, like, right after his dad died. The dad that he used to fucking, like, call a piece of shit and roast all the time. Like, fucking, that was the character arc of Wayne Peters.
That guy was the best. That's why he was probably the best, like, interview in the movie.
Like, even though he was an asshole, he was a fucking, that guy was hardcore.
You know what I think it was?
And he made for the best interview. Like, he actually had an arc in the interview.
Yeah, he didn't lie.
Yeah,
that was the thing. He didn't lie once, and that's why it was so cool. Because he
said he told you when he hated him. He told you when he loved him. Like that's very rare for a documentary.
Who else would admit? Like who would make up the fact that's like, oh, I'm gonna make fun of the fact that like my kid died over Tony Hawk because I could finally beat him at something because fuck Tony Hawk. And it's like then Tony Hawk was like, hey man, I'm really sorry. Let's go talk about it. And it's like and you're just like, wait, what?
And
what
then
were
he
you gonna say?
admitted, like, oh, my son looked up to you. Like, fucking, like, just that. And the fact that he even admitted all that shit on the documentary, because I've seen so many documentaries with athletes, and they never fucking admit shit like that. But he was, like, he literally gave that moment up. And, like,
hated
explained
Tony.
That to him.
He despised Tony Hawk.
No,
he did, but his son looked up to him, then he eventually
what a villain. Tony Hawk had an actual villain in his life, like an actual arch nemesis. That's crazy.
Yeah, he hated him because his dad was running shit too. So it's got like all that element.
But all through life,
that was like palpable. Like you could tell how much people hated that because, well, I like imagine you're at the skate rink and like this other kid is doing way better than everyone else, and his dad is running the whole thing. I would be pissed too. Yeah, I'd be pissed. Like
with rich parents who fucking is running the show.
Yeah. No, that is a lot to overcome. That would be fucking annoying for everyone else.
Prick, though, too. I'll admit that. His dad seemed like kind of a dick.
Yeah.
His dad seemed like a dick from the way that people explained him. And it's really hard to tell that in a documentary, especially a documentary where, like, the producers had a certain relationship with the main focus, which is Tony. So, like, it's hard to say what kind of guy he actually was. Because they probably put in a lot of the more positive statements about it. But, like, it was still honest about the fact, like, everybody fucking hated him because of it.
Just sound like a classic old-timey dad who... Because everyone was like, all he did was eat red meat and smoke cigarettes and, like, work on wood. He just sounded like an...
But it was also a classic example, though, like, fucking without that fucking red meat-eating fucking, like, military guy... Like, would there have been a fucking skateboarding association before him? Like, he was, like, you need that guy. Especially if the fucking entire league is run by fucking motherfuckers that just want to board and say fuck you to the man. You need the man, you know?
No, that is kind of funny. And it's kind of funny that their initial skateboard organization was called NSA. Like,
that's
of course, a military guy.
That's pretty funny, too.
A military guy is, of course, he comes up with NSA. And I'm guessing, I mean, when was the NSA founded? When did we get the NSA that we all know and love?
I think the NSA that we know and love was a post 9/11 boy.
Yeah, maybe.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Well, I like Tony Hawk's dad's NSA more. I think that was a better one, probably.
That was a better one. That was better. That one never comes at me or fucking Jamal Khashoggi or any of them other folks.
No suckers allowed. That's what that stands for, baby. NSA. Woo.
Jamal Khashoggi.
Oh, remember Khashoggi? I don't think the NSA came at him, but you remember that?
Yeah, I forgot about that guy. I was like, I know that name. Okay.
Chris Donner.
Well,
Donner Party.
What can you do?
You're talking about the Donner
Party?
All right. Party? Okay. Well, Cats, like, I know that it's difficult to make a remake of this, but, like, it's probably easier than making a remake of What Is a Woman. So I just want some sort of attempt. So, Brant, do you want to give it a go? Does anybody else have anything? I'm glad that you guys enjoyed this, at least to a certain extent we're able to see the enjoyable thing.
I would like to do a documentary about Dwayne instead, not you, the other Dwayne. I think that...
Dwayne Peters?
There you go.
He seems like he's got a cool story, because he seems like a punk rock... I feel like it would open up on his shitty trailer park fucking house, just blaring shitty fucking trash punk, and him just out there, like, cracking a beer, slamming it, and then getting on the board and, like, ripping on his fucking shitty half pipe before he goes to the, like, skate park.
And we get to see, like, his character arc.
Yeah. And it shows, like, him just being a dick, and how he talks about, like,
because he has a great built-in character arc, because he goes from being the douchebag to being taken out by the guy who will eventually be the fucking only skateboarder that anybody knows, and then he fucking, like, has a fucking, like, come to Jesus moment with that guy based on his own personal tragedy.
Yeah, right.
That's a good character.
He's interesting, and it could be so fun to, just... him being, because he must be such a fun asshole. I see him, like, definitely tossing beer cans at kids.
Hilariously, he seems like the kind of guy who, like, fucking wants everybody he doesn't know to hate him, but if you know him, then he's the fucking sweetest guy. True Dwayne.
But he fucking hates everyone else is the thing, and he doesn't want them to know him, so that's why he chucks beer cans at kids at the skate park. Go back to fucking.
You know, he's a purer Dwayne than I'll ever hope to be.
You should go to school.
Well, yeah, didn't he spit on? I think didn't he spit on Tony Hawk? Like he just like spit on him every chance he got or something like that.
Yeah, no, he did. He spit on him. He spit on him at one point, and fucking, at least Tony Hawk say he did, and his response was, "I don't remember spitting on him, but that sounds like the kind of thing I would have done."
Okay.
That's it. Yeah, I think Dwayne is an interesting enough guy that he could get his own documentary, and his arc is quite superb. Because then you also have like the second act would obviously be like him and his kid, right? So like you start with him being a young punk rat hooligan, he becomes an adult, and he talks about like his probably many wives, just like Tony has, and this one kid who like he's like, I'm gonna be a dad and I'm gonna fucking do it, and I love this kid, and then dies, and he's.
Which is like at least like age perspective wise and shit like that, like could be the kid that Tony has right now, you know, because Tony has that one kid that he's trying to like be an attentive father to.
Yeah, that like 13-year-old.
Well, it's got like a mirror thing.
That kid's grown up now.
Well, no, because in the documentary was only like 2 years old. The kid that he was like saying like, "Oh, you stood up on the bike," like
not Tony's original kid. Yeah.
You know, like there were all the other kids that were growing up, but this one is like the one from his latest or second.
Yeah, I forgot about that one. Yeah,
I think that one might have been from Ponzi or whatever. It was Loksha. I forgot what his name was.
Lokshi.
He's got the good genetics. He's like, I hit the jackpot with this one finally. Good job, kiddo.
Yeah, no, he was just trying to find the right genetics for his wife. He needed to find the perfect skateboarding specimen.
Well, it looks like he's going more for the BMX, so he's kind of like, listen, I don't want you to have whiplash, kid, but I just want you to be like just super fucked up. I just want the concussions.
I just need you to be willing to punch your wife.
See, well, that's why you could start like pressure. You know, assuring your baby is going to be like as durable as possible by just like right when he comes out of the womb, just bop him on the head a bunch.
Dude, that's what happened. That's what happened to Tiger Woods, dude. That's what happened to Tiger Woods.
Squish their fucking
dad. His dad just like took him out to the links and just started throwing golf balls at his head. And it was like, you're gonna fucking piss off your wife in the future. And he was like, okay, Dad. And they went and fucking won like 7 Masters.
Hell yeah.
Huh.
All right, I'm gonna go piss. And when I come back,
really?
Cats remake.
Our host is gonna go piss.
Oh, I'll help you, little cats, because this is kind of a bullshit one, and I definitely took easy out.
Yeah, you did. Honestly, it was a really smart move. I have a stupid idea. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It's a stupid idea, but
you need a little help back and forth. You want some filling. You want some fluff on your stuff.
I feel like you would be a great back and forth because I think you probably have a better knowledge of the references I'm going to be making. You seem like a well-read individual.